God. Ask Scott.
Hey, Scott, I was wondering, I want to ask you a question. I've been involved in retail arbitrage. I'm looking to dip my toes into the market with the private label. The product that I'm looking at doing is in a hobby and or a sport. The top product that's on Amazon currently has a BSR rank of about, about 1,500. Not a whole lot of competition, not a whole lot of other things on there. As far as other products, there's only maybe 2 or 3. Not a lot of reviews, things like that. I'm wondering if the market is too soft on Amazon. I know locally and in the real world and in retail, the product is strong and the community is actually growing. But anyway, just maybe a weird question. Just wanted to ask and see what you thought. Appreciate it.
Well, hey there. Thank you so much for the question. I believe the name is Dennis. I'm going to guess here. I think that's what I remember. You didn't say it in your voicemail, but I think I remember seeing that in the email that comes through using the SpeakPipe widget. So if it isn't, I apologize. If it is, Dennis, thank you so much for the question. Okay, this is a good question, and I've got a couple of different thoughts here. Number one is, you may be onto something that's about to take off. And we haven't really talked too much about this, but if we want to also be first to market with something that we see is going to be an upcoming trend, that's a good thing. That is a good thing, because then you can kind of be there before it really gets known, and then you can put your stake in the ground. And it sounds like that might be the case, because you're telling me that the numbers aren't really that impressive, but there is a growing market, and there's a growing presence in the hobby space, let's say. So you're starting to project, and you're starting to look a little bit into the future and see that this is something that is going to probably catch on. So my thoughts are, first off, I'd want to do a little bit more digging to see if there was any other history, even if it's not in Amazon, of this product, or maybe the product's just too new to do that. Okay. So I can't really say without seeing the product and without seeing like what you're looking at as far as numbers. I mean, you said it was a 1,500, I think, BSR, which is pretty good. But there wasn't a lot of other competitors in there yet. So is that good? Is that bad? Who knows? We don't really know right now. If there was 10 sellers in there selling the same product, is everyone going to be able to grab some of the market? Or is just the first and second seller going to grab all the market? That we don't know. So this is a little risky, but it's something that you could potentially capitalize on if you are kind of guessing right. And again, that's what we are really doing. We're kind of guessing. We're trying to look into a crystal ball to see if this is something that could take off. There's a lot of products in the hobby and in the, especially in the toy space, that products come and go, right? But they're hot for a year or two. I mean, my son, he was collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and Pokemon cards and that type of stuff. Now my daughter's into these, oh gosh, what's the name of those little figures that you buy? They're like these little plastic, I forgot what it is now, but we buy them, and she's totally into them. Shopkins or one of those. There's like these little figures that you buy in these little, it's a lunch pail, like Lunchable. I don't know what it is. I forget what it is, but it's something that's hot right now. Everybody's buying. Every time we go into Target, we look for them and they're gone. They're clear off the shelf. So you got those. There's those little rubber bands that you would make bracelets with. Those things, those were hot, and then people were starting to sell just the rubber bands for them. So yeah, you can capitalize on a trend, but just understand that you're just capitalizing for a short-term gain. And then from there, you'd have to go on to the next. But it doesn't mean that you wouldn't want to maybe take advantage of that. And it sounds like you're in the retail arb kind of space, which is good in a sense, because I think people that are doing retail arb can kind of test multiple markets and multiple products without a lot of risk. And then they can kind of see what's starting to trend, what's starting to really take, what kind of market or what kind of products this market is responding to, and all that stuff before you actually private label your own product. So there's pros and cons to both. But from what I'm hearing from you is that you've kind of got a hunch on something, you kind of want to go for it, but you just want a little bit more proof before you do. So I would say do a little bit more research if you can, and then maybe just test it and see what happens with a small batch. So that's what I would recommend there. So hopefully that's been helpful. If you guys want to submit a question, head over to theamazingseller.com/ask, and you can do that. I want to also, again, remind you guys, if you're brand new and this is your first time to the show, I want to welcome you. I love hanging out with you guys. This is just awesome to be able to virtually connect like this. And that's why I love the Ask Scott sessions. But if you are brand new and you're just getting your feet wet and you don't understand the entire process, the entire business model, I would recommend attending one of my live free workshops. This is where I break it down for you in 5 phases: how to pick a market and a product, how to source it, how to do a pre-launch, how to do a launch, how to promote the product, and everything in between. We go over that on a workshop, and we go through every single thing. We also do live Q&A. So if you want to attend one of them, I would love to invite you to the next one, and you can register for the next one by heading over to theamazingseller.com/workshop, and you can register there for an upcoming workshop. Well, hey there. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of Ask Scott. Now, that was just a highlight from one of our full episodes where I generally answer 3 to 4 questions on a podcast. If you want to go back and listen to all of the past archives of not just the Ask Scott session, but all of the full episodes where I do interviews with top Amazon sellers, people starting from scratch and building a business, if you want to listen to any of those episodes, head over to theamazingseller.com, and you can find all of that over there. You can also find details there on how you can ask your own question and get it aired on an upcoming Ask Scott session, and possibly see it here on YouTube or just on the podcast. All right, so definitely head over to theamazingseller.com. There's tons of resources over there for you to be able to build your e-commerce and Amazon business. So definitely go check that out. Now, I just wanted to remind you one thing before I let you go. There's a lot of information out there, and some of it is really, really good. But what I want you to remember is you have to not just consume the information, you have to actually apply that information. So take this information that you learned here today and apply it to your business. And this way here, you can get results. As my shirt says, I wear it almost daily. Take action. We'll see you guys.